right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode here on the Digital Trade Show podcast. We are live in Columbus, Ohio at the ADHA annual session. It is Saturday morning. Very, very excited to be with you and very excited for our next guest. I've got Mr. Andrew Turco from Orabrite. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like I said, Andrew is from Orabrite and has been here at the show, been working with a lot of the hygienists and a lot of the people in the exhibit hall. So we wanted to have him come on, talk about the exciting things that are going on at Orabrite and all of that good stuff. So before we start, maybe just a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are right now.
Well, our company's been in business for 20 years, and we started off in dentistry selling private label programs through dental dealers. So that's how we got into the manufacturing side of it. We're a manufacturing company. We make toothpaste, toothbrushes, dental floss, so all the basic preventive products.
Yeah.
And on the branded side, we've launched specialty brands over the last 20 years too. Our first major brand was in corrections, and that's still a very important market for us to make preventive products which are safe and effective for use in corrections.
Right.
And then about 10 years ago, we launched into daycare centers, which are administered by the federal government. Head Start program. So we designed a whole program for that. And then the reason why we're at this meeting is we have launched a new brand called Orabrite Assisted Oral Care, which is designed for mobile dentistry for hygienists and dentists that work in nursing homes or in home health situations, so that people that take their products with them. And one of the first products that we developed for that market was a toothbrushing aid, which is designed for people that have dexterity issues. So we launched two products about 6 months ago. We've been doing hygiene meetings about once a month ever since then, and we're also working in the medical, the medical distribution network. So we're distributed by all the major dental dealers, and also in the medical area by McKesson, Medline, Cardinal. So we've got
exciting
pretty good market penetration. So from this point forward, I think we're just looking to partner with hygienists that work in this area. Our social media plan is to work with influencer hygienists that work in mobile dentistry and nursing homes. And if you go to our website, orabrite.net, you'll see on our homepage all of the stories that we tell. We try to tell at least one news story a week about a hygienist that we're partnering with who actually takes our products and demonstrates them in dental schools, in nursing homes. One of the big issues is trying to bring the people who work in nursing homes along with the program, because oral care is generally not something that is prescribed or paid for in the nursing home environment. So it's a very complex environment, and we're learning more about it every day. And it's really all advocated for by hygienists who often volunteer their own time. Sometimes they have their own companies that go in and are paid on a service basis. But many of the leaders in this area that we work with they're volunteers as well.
So talk a little bit about, like you said, where along the line as a company, like you said, you guys have been manufacturing these products for many, many years. The decision to go into like the home health care and the nursing homes and partnering with these hygienists, was that driven by all of a sudden seeing the need that more and more hygienists were doing that, or because certainly a very, very smart direction to go.
Yes, we've attended dental meetings for the last 20 years in varying sort of concentration in terms of how much of a brand we're trying to launch at the time. So we heard all the stories throughout the years, and we had been asked to develop products for the special needs market, which is sort of the overarching market. And about 2 years ago, we met a hygienist named Kristen Hayes, who's actually working with us now, and she's not here today, but she's one of the people that's been instrumental in kind of guiding us a little bit more in product development. And she really helped us crystallize our thinking around, where would you begin addressing the issues. Obviously, preventive hygiene products are dominated by national brands, and it's always been my thought as a small company that you can't aim in the same place they're aiming. So they aim at the sort of the demographic of 25 to 54, whatever you want to call that. They aim at the middle, and they don't really try to design products for people outside the middle. So we're always working at the fringes of what they leave behind.
Right.
So we had a very good experience in the Head Start business, 10 years ago when we launched with our own custom manufactured and designed toothbrush sanitizer. So that was a need that came up from the bottom, and we discussed it with everybody in the business and really designed it in collaboration with the with the professionals that are working every day with the people that are really affected. So when it comes to special needs or geriatric care, it's a far more complex market because you have the issue of the basic issue of people living a lot longer, obviously, which is a great thing, but there's no plan for society to give preventive care for people that are living longer.
Right.
So every situation is different, and of course every state administers their programs differently. Every state handles, how is oral care and preventive care in the nursing home environment dealt with.
Right.
So it's something that we're still learning about, but the first products that we really, that we had a sort of a background on, every time we would go to a dental meeting, hygienists would come up to us and say, hey, we're jerry-rigging tennis balls and wrapping masking tape around them, which is very similar to what we heard in Head Start. In Head Start, what we heard was, oh, geez, we're wrapping masking tape around the toothbrushes to identify, and then to write the kids' names on them. So we had a little bit of background, and we designed toothbrushes for Head Start on that basis. So one thing I felt like in this market was that you couldn't really, I didn't want to design a toothbrush for this community. Because I think people are still consumers in the system, so they're always going to really choose what they want.
Right.
So we designed a product which you could use with any toothbrush. So that's what we're showing here. Is the two first issues that we zeroed in on were arm extension and an ability to actually lift your arm to brush. So we've got an extender which extends the length of the average toothbrush about 8 inches.
Yeah.
And then the second product that we launched here was the expander was for people that have a hard time closing their hands around the toothbrush.
Okay.
So those were the two issues that were surfaced to us.
Okay.
So those products have launched, and we have 3 more products in the queue right now, one for children with special needs and disabilities, and 2 electric toothbrush versions. So because the popularity of electric toothbrushes, and electric toothbrushes are often prescribed for patients in this age group because it takes away really one range of motion that you have to apply when you're brushing.
Right. So talk a little bit about, I think the Head Start thing is so cool. First of all, that you guys identified that, but I think just partnering with that type of organization and certainly educating kids at an early age to how important it is to want to do all that.
Well, I mean, I think for us, the most important thing when we got started was the partnership within Head Start with the federal government, where each Head Start, in order to achieve a license with the federal government and the funding mechanism, they actually have to have an oral care component. It's built in.
Okay.
So it was front-loaded way back when Head Start started, like in 1967. And that's critical because the funding mechanism is already in place.
Right.
So a certain level of preventive care is required every day for kids in that environment. And of course, they're eating and naturally, and often that's the place where they may learn how to brush.
Right.
So whereas the oral care instruction may not be at the highest level in Head Start in the sense of experience, the funding mechanism is there. It's almost the opposite situation in nursing homes.
Right, it's not there.
Well, yeah, now the nursing homes and the state organizations are trying to backfill a preventive budget. And I haven't really seen it happening yet, but we are working, like in New York State, we're working with a group that is trying to identify what would a preventive regime be, how much would it cost, what type of special products do you need for that. So,
and I would have to think that hygienists, like you said, a lot of these hygienists that are proactive, that are getting involved in this, it sounds like they're becoming huge advocates for that.
Oh, absolutely. Hygienists, I think, are leading the way in this charge right now. So, and because it really takes a special person to tackle this issue. I mean, dementia care plays a big part in this, in the sense that people with dementia are really in the target zone of periodontal disease at this age.
Yep.
It's very difficult to, on a daily basis, to do the basic preventive cleaning that, so, that's, so the hygienists that work in that environment have to be special people to start with.
Sure.
So they're kind of our storytellers in our product marketing. They educate our whole audience on what they're doing and how to use the products.
Well, it's interesting because I had on yesterday Suzanne Keel, who we were talking about something that a lot of people don't think about is, unfortunately, individuals in nursing homes, one of the biggest reasons of death is the pneumonia.
Right.
And the connection with the bacteria and all of that. So to your point, where people are hopefully now starting to put that together to, let's put some attention there, let's put some funding there, let's help these people live a little bit longer for their families and things like that. So that's why I think this is such a great component as well.
That's very true. I mean, we've had more experience in that issue working with oral care in the correctional environment, because that's where we first launched our brand 20 years ago. And our struggle every day in corrections is to get across the message that preventive care is a lot less expensive than emergency care.
Right.
And so,
and
unfortunately, our government at various levels is not really set up to deal with
prevention,
an intelligent approach to health care.
Yeah.
And so you just see it, and there isn't really I think the statistics have been presented very well in the geriatric market about, the incidence cost.
Right.
When you start to get referrals into hospitals out of nursing homes, far outweighs.
Yep.
But on the flip side, like, we're dealing with the same issues where some of the big medical distributors who are distributing tens of millions of toothbrushes, for example, into the medical and nursing home market, are still buying the most substandard products they can get their hands on, and then marking them up. They may take a 3-cent toothbrush and market it up to $15. So, and that's essentially because that's the environment. There's this whole justification for how that works, but there's never any thought put into, what kind of a mess are we creating at the other end, and how we're driving costs from that end. And so I always look at it as, I look at our experience in corrections where we've had success in getting our message through, and it really is essentially a political message. Which says, okay, you're going to have X number, of people in this system. You have to keep them healthy. It's not, they're not there to be punished in that sense. Right. Because all you're doing is driving costs through the system. And if you look at what's happening with geriatric dentistry, you can take what's happened in corrections and multiply it by 50 in terms of the population. So there's maybe 100 million people coming into this market over the next 10 years, all the baby boomers. And there's got to be a plan for this. Otherwise we're just looking at another healthcare crisis.
And it's interesting to me because what I love about bringing on companies like yourself is that on the surface, you have, like you said, standard consumer products that people purchase and things like that. But the public and the dental community, they don't always realize all the other things that you guys are doing. And I think this is such a fascinating conversation because there's so much more that you guys are doing to be involved in moving dentistry forward other than just the products that you have. So I think it's a very neat aspect of, the work that sounds like you guys are doing on a weekly basis.
Yes, and I think our market niche kind of dictates that we're always operating at the fringes. I think the difference is that with the geriatric market and the growing, if people are going to be living into their 90s now, and they're going to be trying to maintain good oral health, are the big brands going to change their strategy and not just aim at the middle? I mean, I think they have medically oriented products, pharmaceutical products that they're interested in, but preventive products tend to be Class 1 medical devices, and they may be the tools, dental floss and toothbrushes may be the tools that everybody uses on a daily basis more frequently than anything else in their lives. And I think the perception on the major brands' point of view is that all the juice has gone out of that market, in the sense that
Yeah.
They're trying to push things into other directions, like electric toothbrushes and things like that, which are also very useful, but maybe out of the, if the medical distributors are pushing 2-cent toothbrushes, how are they going to relate to electric toothbrushes?
Right.
They're not, right?
Right.
So, what we're talking about is practical solutions that don't drive cost and that actually are collaborative products that, that actually solve problems. And so that's kind of where we've always been as a company. And
excellent. Yeah. So what's been the feedback so far here at the show? I mean, always, I'm sure this is a big show for you guys, and to be able to work with hygienists with what you do and all that.
Well, we have hygienists coming to our booth all day yesterday and immediately relating to what we're doing because they've all been there. Yeah. So, and it makes sense because everything we do, all the products that we design are really designed in collaboration with hygienists. So,
Sure.
So they, the most common situation is hygienists that teach in hygiene schools.
Yeah.
And part of what they teach in every, in every class or in every curriculum is treatment for the elderly. So that's part of the curriculum.
Right.
And so then when they get to that part of the class, they always have to come out and say, oh, by the way, we don't really have any specific tools for cleaning, for helping you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I think we're just beginning in this process, and we're always talking to more people about their ideas. I mean, we actually do have more products in design right now.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of fun here because it's not a canned approach. Our approach is very collaborative. We design products really quickly. We get them onto the market quickly. And,
That's encouraging. I think. I mean, you've experienced that over the years. It's when you do form that collaborative relationship with the people that are using the products, and they know and recognize that you're going to listen and can move fast.
Right.
Whereas, like you said, in some cases, it can be a little bit more difficult with a larger company because of the different layers you have to go through. I think that's more timely right now in the world that we live in, where people want to make these quick changes.
Right.
So, yeah, it's cool. All right, well, if you share with everybody how they can learn more about you guys and your website and all that great stuff.
Yeah, our products are all visible on Orabrite.net, and assisted oral care is what we're talking about at this meeting. But you can see all of our product categories there. You can see our child care / daycare product line. We are the leading, I guess you could say, private label toothbrush supplier to U.S. dental offices. We do a lot of decorating. We do the personalization.
Yeah.
So that's just another thing that we do. We're very invested in that. We, our company, all of our packaging, decorating, fulfillment is done by people with disabilities as well. So our partnership in Cortland, New York, is with a company that employs people with disabilities, and that's been a long-term partnership. So really, at every level, we're trying to fulfill our mission in the community and in this community.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
This has been great. I really appreciate it. And again, if learn more about Orabrite, as Andrew said, doing a lot of great things, and wish you guys the best of luck moving forward with, obviously, certainly where things are going to go in this market. And good luck the rest of the show.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, John.